Well, hello, friends, and welcome back to CWK Live every Monday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm your host, Dan Zayer. Thrilled to be talking Star Wars with each and every one of you. Let's bring in our friends for CWK Live. First, of course, is Minta. This is the way it's CWK Day. Probably still have the record. Not probably. You have the record for the most times being the first person to comment on CWK Live. Love that. Appreciate it. Blake, what is up, man? How are your Marlins doing? I actually haven't been paying attention to the Marlins. I've been watching my Cubbies, of course. Yeah, the beard is gone, Amber. The beard is gone. Once in a while I shave it and it comes back pretty quickly, so it's a little weird to get used to. My students are definitely a little surprised. Jacob, week number 2. Yes, good to be back, buddy. Good to have you. And looks like you brought your wife Jenny along for as well. Jenny, good to have you both back on the show. Happy Monday to you, Mary. Good to see you, my friend. Jason and Heinrich are here. Hello, friends. Hello. Welcome back to the show. And River and Amber are here as well. Hello, friends. We've got Ross with us. Hello, Ross. Good to have you back on the show, buddy. And Jamie is here too. Hello, Jamie. And I know Mason will be joining us shortly as well. Well, tonight is going to be a fun show. They're always a fun show because I get to hang out with all of you, but let's take a look at what's on the official docket. We've got top 5 moments from Star Wars Rebels Rise of the Old Masters, which is going to be a fun one to talk about. We have Star Wars Celebration updates. We're going to play a little bit of Star Wars trivia tonight as well, and there's going to be a prize. And then a CWK announcement. I've got a major Coffee with Kenobi announcement that I wanted to do on the live show. And of course, your comments and questions. How about that? All right, so let's just jump in. I realize I've been using the wrong video package for what's brewing in the world of Star Wars. I have fixed that. So let's go and see what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week.
And now, let's see what's brewing in the Star Wars universe this week.
Thank you, Tom Kane. All right, so what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week? We've got a lot of announcements for Star Wars Celebration. We didn't have any for so long, and now we're just getting flooded with stuff. Absolutely flooded. So I put this first because I feel like this is really amazing. But Saturdays of Celebration are usually like the massive days for what is going on in the world of home video, I guess, for lack of a better term. And is there anything bigger in the world of Star Wars than The Mandalorian? We're going to have Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau there on Saturday morning to talk about The Mandalorian. They'll have some surprises in store for us, and it's going to be great. Those two are incredible Star Wars minds. So just knowing that they're going to talk about The Mandalorian and be there for us is going to be very, very exciting. At this point, no one has mentioned if... how that's going to work. Is there going to be a lottery system to make sure you try to get into the panel? I'm assuming that'll be the case, but not sure yet. They haven't said and they haven't told me anything, so I guess we'll just kind of keep our eyes and ears open. On Sunday, we're going to hear from the creators of Star Wars The Bad Batch. So Thursday, I don't think we talked about it last week. We should have, but Thursday is going to be major stuff coming from the world of live action Star Wars. Some surprises there. So that's going to be Thursday. Saturday is going to be the Bad Batch. Saturday is going to be the Mandalorian, and Sunday is going to be the Bad Batch and news from the creators. And I don't know, these are always fun events because you get to see the characters, not the characters, but you get to see the people involved in it. Hey, Mason is here. What's up, buddy? We're just talking about you. Good to have you on the show. You can't help but hope there's going to be a trailer, stuff like that. So we'll see. So again, we've got the Bad Batch. It's going to be on Sunday, and then Saturday is going to be the Mandalorian stuff. We've got some news of guests. We've got Katie Sackhoff, who plays Bo-Katan. We've got Carl Weathers, who plays Greef Karga. And then we've got Emily Swallow, who plays the Armorer. They are going to be featured at Star Wars Celebration Anaheim. And then we've got D. Bradley Baker, who's, of course, all of the clones. Dickie Beer, who played Boba Fett in Return of the Jedi. Amy Allen, who was Ayla Secura in the prequels. And then Michelle Ang, who is the voice of Omega in Star Wars The Bad Batch. So that's pretty cool. Oh, Mason, Henrik, Jason's son, Henrik says hello. So here you go. Love it. Ross says, Emily's smirk is awesome. Yeah. Sheila, let's go back to that. Yeah. It's pretty cool. I think Tom Gross is married. I think some of you met her. I think Mary, did you meet her too at a convention? I feel like you did. No, I can't remember, but I feel like you did. So yeah, that's fun. They announced all the autographs too, and the pricing for that. We'll talk about that maybe next week. But from the Hasbro world, I'm not going to put them all here, but Hasbro's doing their prototype editions, which are always multicolored. And this is the one for Chewbacca. It already went on sale. I'm sure it's already sold out, but it's kind of fun to see it. I like the art on that card too. Oh, Roz, you met her as well. Okay, I thought so. I knew people from the CWK Alliance did. So that's cool. LJ is here. Hey, man, welcome back. Good to have you on the show, my friend. We're just talking about Celebration and different announcements from Hasbro. So, from the gaming greats, the Star Wars Republic Commando, we've got RC 1207 Sev, or 1207 Sev. Really nice looking figure there. Mary has not met Emily, so maybe you will at Celebration. Who knows? Amber says that Chewbacca is cool. Yeah, I'm going to go back to I love that. I like that it's just different color. And I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like there's different designs for a lot of these as far as what colors they are. Mason likes this one too. It's nice. All right, now this one to me is insanely cool. They had, just think of What If, but in the Star Wars universe, they had a comic book series years and years ago called Star Wars Infinities. In the Empire Strikes Back one, Darth Vader ended up turning good, and his armor was white, and he was a force for good. And so they were making a Black Series figure of him. I think this is a gorgeous figure. I absolutely love it. So that one was out as well for the Black Series. Again, I've been trying to avoid the Black Series. I don't have a ton of them anymore. But this is one that would definitely tempt me, for sure. Okay. Let's see. Speaking of tempting, some of you are going to Celebration this summer. If you're not, and you just want to get that Star Wars fix and hang out with your Star Wars friends, in the summer of 2023, you can join me and MEI and Mouse Fan Travel on the Galactic Star Cruiser at Walt Disney World. Once Disney announces dates for the summer of 2023, I will post them here and on our social media. But this is going to be an amazing experience. Of course, I was able to be a part of the media experience for this with my wife and my son Mason, and we had a great time. So I want to bring you all along. So save your money, save your pennies, save your galactic credits, and we will hopefully see you in the summer of 2023 on the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. Ben says he's going to take 5 of those Vaders. You know, Ben, I don't blame you. They are absolutely spectacular. In fact, I'll put that back up there so we can drool again together as a collective Star Wars family. Yeah, it's a great looking figure. There's way more pictures of all of these, by the way, and some things I haven't shared on the live show on Coffee with Kenobi's Instagram page as well. So check out our Instagram. Be sure to follow it or like it or whatever the heck you're supposed to on Instagram. And that would be cool. So I said I have a Coffee with Kenobi major announcement. So you know what? Should I say it now or should I save it for after? I'll just say it now. All right. Big news. Corey, Cleve, and I have been working on this for a very long time, but we are going to have a brand new Coffee with Kenobi logo. So on the top left is the classic logo that we've had since 2014. By the way, the show is going to be coming up on 9 years of being out. How about that? But we'll get to that later. So yeah, this is the classic Coffee with Kenobi logo. We've had it since 2014. It served us well for a very, very, very long time. But it's time, I believe, to change things up a little bit. I first saw the logo last week, and it blew me away. I'm not going to show it tonight. That we're going to do a little bit of a tease here. So 1 week from tonight, on the live show, I'm going to show you the brand new Coffee with Kenobi logo. It was pretty scary to design it because, we've used this classic one for so long, and I just thought it was time for a change. So that's exactly what is going to happen. Yes, sizzle. Exactly, a little sizzle reel there. So yeah, next week, we're going to have a special guest with me. You can probably guess who it is. #Corey Club. And we are going to introduce the brand new Coffee with Kenobi logo just in time for celebration. Yeah, LJ is... Hi, Brian. Good to have you, man. LJ is good for those sort of things. Can we see the new logo on some merch, Blake? Yes, that is going to be part of the fun. There's going to be a lot of cool merch out there as well. Really looking forward to that. So thank you for getting excited with me because it's going to be amazing. Speaking of getting excited, let's go ahead and jump into our top 5. We've got top 5 moments from the Star Wars Rebels episode, Rise of the Old Masters. That's right, hashtag swag, man. You got it, brother. Yeah, Rise of the Old Masters. To me, this is the episode that really kicks things up to another level. With the major introduction of... I'm not going to say he's a classic Star Wars villain because I feel like it's too early to say that. But he's definitely a great villain. LJ says, Blake's asking the real questions. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And that was one of the things that we're kind of really excited about, to be honest with that. All right. Top 5 moments from Rise of the Old Masters. I'm going to go ahead and jump into number 5. Number 5 for me is the introduction of the Inquisitor himself. Yes, I know in the very first episode, they later retroactively added him into interacting with Vader. But really, once he strolls down into that cell with his confidence and poise and this very proper demeanor, but he's very dangerous. I just thought it was great, exciting, powerful, almost from a horror perspective. So that would be my number 5, just the initial appearance of the Inquisitor himself, the Inquisitor's arrival. That's my number 5. So what about you? What did you have for your top 5s? Anybody want to share theirs? Go ahead and do so right now. While you're doing it, I'm going to pull up Mason's from last week so I can share his as well. There we go. Okay, number 5 for Amber. Hera's accidentally attracting the TBDs with her frequency. Yes, that's true. And did you, by the way, I saw on the trivia, they're called TBDs because when they originally created these creatures, they almost look like flying manta rays. They called them TBD, as in to be determined. They didn't know what they wanted to name it, but they were just storyboarding it out, and they just kept TBDs as the name of the creature itself. Mean number 5, do or do not, there is no try. It was good to hear the classic line, but it was hilarious when Kanan couldn't explain what it meant. I know, I love that. I actually wrote about that for StarWars.com during the pandemic about Kanan's approach to that line. It was pretty good. So good choice, Mita. Jacob's number 5, when Kanan quotes Yoda saying, do or do not, there is no try, and then admits he doesn't know what this means. This sets the theme for the episode as both Kanan and Ezra learn what it means to do and not try. That's right. Well said, Jacob. Number 5 for Blake. The trap the Inquisitor laid out for Ezra and Kanan. I know, it was pretty haunting and very effective, obviously. Jenny says, Zeb, we're going to need a miracle. Sabine, here are 3. Hands him 3 bombs. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And Mason wisely says, this is a great episode. I agree, buddy. I loved it. I loved watching it with you and just experiencing it because it's got some great moments as well. Ross is number 5. The poor Lothcat getting hit on the head by the small container Chopper throws at Ezra. Oh, that's going to come up later in Mason's list, I believe. That was funny. Jason's number 5. Jedi training on the Ghost. No better way to start your Jedi training than on top of a starship, thousands of feet in the air with a cranky astromech and Lasat throwing stuff at you. I know, right? I don't think I'd sign up for that. And Henrik's number 5 is Kanan dueling the Inquisitor, which was pretty exciting and a little bit scary, too. Ben's number 5. Does yours do that? Referring to the Grand Inquisitor spinning blade. I like a good line of humor when something seems crazy. I agree. That's a very Shakespearean. Amber says, I had to Google it. Hey, nothing wrong with that. That's how you get your information. That totally works. Jamie also has, does yours do that? 2 exact same responses to seeing the Inquisitor's lightsaber. Yeah, pretty fun. I remember when it first happened, when you saw it, like we as fans saw it, and it was pretty cool. Mary's number 5. Kanan to Ezra, do or do not. Kanan's saying he never really understood what Yoda meant by that, but at the end of the show, they both understand what that saying means. Well said, Mary. Absolutely. Number 5 for Brian. Ezra's start of Jedi training on the top of the ship. The episode opens up from the perspective of Ezra upside down. Yes, literally and figuratively upside down. Mason's number 5 is when Kanan fights all those troopers. Just the whole part, him showing up and how exciting that is. And Kanan's pretty good. All right, let's go into number 4. Number 4 for me is Kanan's humility. Look, I don't like seeing Kanan get defeated, but let's be honest. Defeats happen. You fall down, you fail, you don't catch everything you want to catch, you don't land every joke you want to tell. You know, every test you study for, you don't always get a perfect score. You know, we fail. We fail more than we succeed, and the fact that we get back up again is what makes us strong. Kanan hasn't been tested like this in a long time, but he gets up. He knows he's fighting for something bigger than himself, and to me, this is a very big step in his eventual leading to becoming a Jedi Knight. Because he's not a Jedi Knight yet. I pointed it out to Mason. He's not a Jedi Knight until later, because he's still a Padawan, technically. A very good one, a very gifted one, but very rusty. And the Inquisitor certainly capitalized on that. So it's Kanan's humility and learning to fall down and pick himself up again that I think are very important to his development as a character. That's why I called it Kanan's humility. All right, Minta's number 4. I am the Inquisitor. Still gives me chills every time. It's a great line, and Jason Isaacs is so good in this role. Ross is number 4. Hera hiding amongst the fleet of romantically driven Tibides to rescue the Ghost Crew. Romantically driven. That's true. Number 4 for Blake, quite simply, humor. This episode had quite a few hilarious moments. Yes, it did. Yes, it sure did. Jacob's number 4, the Tibides that follow the Phantom and help save the day in rescuing them. This is the first time they form an unexpected alliance with creatures to help them in their mission and sets a reoccurring important theme for the show. Yes, it does. Yes, it absolutely does. All right. Let's see. Where are we here? Jamie's number 4. Chopper's enjoyment of his role in the training exercise. He liked it too much, didn't he? Ben's number 4. The awkward elevator ride and making fun of Kanan for changing the plans using the Lando line. Oh, good point. Jason says for his 4, the Inquisitor's entrance, dynamic and terrifying, and Henrik agrees with his dad, the Inquisitor's grand entrance. Yes. It was awesome. Mason says Jamie's number 5 is like Obi-Wan from the Skywalker saga when he sees Darth Maul's lightsaber. That's right. That's right. Speaking of that, I think I can tell everybody, Mason, don't you think? This week on Coffee with Kenobi, Mason is actually going to join me as a real guest, along with Ross Hallivan. The 3 of us are going to talk about the Star Wars Lego Skywalker saga. Hope you're all having fun playing with that. But we'll get back to the list. Number 4 for Amber, Zeb and Chopper harassing Ezra during Jedi training. Yes, he had a lot of fun with that. They both did. Jenny's next one. Inquisitors have awesome lightsabers. Does yours do that? Also, this Inquisitor was a character that basically gave me nightmares. Really well done. Yeah, the design of that one, he's a Powin. That's the name of his race. Very good. Mary's number 4, Hera hanging off the side of the prison and the creatures being attracted to the sound waves, then bringing them back as backup in the end, foreshadow of how much animals are important in Rebels. So that's a good point. That's a really good point, Mary. That's his connection, and Ezra's connection to animals in the Force, which isn't really covered here, is a very unique part of his character. Number 4 for Brian, future subtle plot point, the introduction of Gal Travis into the story. I completely missed that this was the first time to hear him. A great setup for Larry. Yes, that's right. Gal Travis is the one who gives him the tip about Luminara still being captured and being around and kind of being the catalyst for all these things to happen. Mason's number 4 is Kanan and Ezra, the final scene where they basically agree to be a teacher and a student together. And Mason put that as his number 4 because of the importance of the two of them as like they're basically like brothers, but also like friends, and they teach one another. I mean, Kanan is the teacher, let's be clear, but I think Kanan learns from Ezra along the way as well, including that it's okay to be a teacher himself. So that's number 4. All right, let's go into number 3. Number 3 on my list is teamwork. The two of them at the end are much more powerful together than they are separately. It's a great metaphor for life. We're always more powerful when we work together with others. Absolutely. And he says, picture the locking mechanism. They work on it together and they open it up and save their lives, save the lives of the crew too. And I almost think the Inquisitor kind of likes this cat and mouse thing. I don't know that he lets them go, but he definitely is more than up to hunt them down again, I would say. So that's my number 3, teamwork. Let's see what the rest of you have. Minta's number 3, Hera is attracting the Tibides, though they were a nuisance at first. I thought they were a nuisance at first. They came in handy as their own little fleet. They certainly have an electric personality. Ah, ha, ha. But you know what? I'm really thinking they certainly have an electric personality. Good job. I get you a little rim shot there. Number 3 for Minta is simply, I'm sorry, for Mary is the Inquisitor. That's right, Mary. He's a cool villain. Jacob's number 3, the Inquisitor, tells Ezra that Kanan is unfocused and undisciplined, to which Ezra responds with the revelation they are perfect for each other. I know. It's a nice little bit of irony. Ross is number 3, Kanan using the Jedi mind trick on the stormtroopers guarding Jedi Master Luminara's presumptive cell. That's right. It's fun to see that always. And you can use the Jedi mind tricks in the Lego game too, can't you? We'll get to that. Brian's number 3, Kanan and Ezra focusing together to open the outer door while the Inquisitor is hunting them down. He helps him focus on the lock. Yep, very similar to my number 3. Amber's number 3, Kanan admitting that he doesn't understand do or do not. There's no try. So far, River and I had the same list. Oh, cool. Sometimes sometimes our list match up too, Amber. Jenny's number 3. The disappointment of Master Unduli already being gone. Kanan feeling like he's stuck with Ezra, but not for the reasons that Ezra interprets. The conversation they had at the end was necessary for the growth in Kanan and Ezra's relationship with each other. Yep, I totally agree with that. This is part of the learning process. Again, sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it doesn't work so well. But eventually, when you learn from it, you get stronger. Jason's number 3. So many great one-liners. I'm standing right here. We know. We have a fleet. Does yours do that? Yeah, a lot of great one-liners in this one. And then Henrik's number 3. Kanan find the stormtroopers throughout the prison. He is very good at that, isn't he, Henrik? Like some kung fu stuff over here. Jamie's number 3. Same here with teamwork to open the door lock. It's a great part. I love it. Blake's 3. Ezra's training at the beginning. It was a good start to show how much progress he makes in the show. Ben's number 3. The Grand Inquisitor's grand entrance. See what I did there? Using Master Unduli to attract Jedi is dark. This is not your average cartoon. No, it is not. Excuse me, I had to hit the cough button there. Mason's number 3 is the Loth Cat getting bonked that Ross had mentioned earlier. It is pretty funny, for sure. We giggled. Oh boy, lots of coughing. Excuse me. So my number 2 is the training. The training between the two of them. I like that it's like a bookend. At the beginning, they struggle. Ezra certainly struggles with this training, how it's working. I think Kanan's sort of struggling with how to train Ezra, hence part of the craziness and the stuff that he puts him through to make it happen. But then at the end, when they make peace and he says, I'm not going to try to teach you, I'm just going to teach you. I just think it's a great part. All right, let's see what the rest of you have for number 2. Number 2 for Minta. Master Unduli, this moment tricks you at first to make you believe that she's alive, but your heart is immediately stopped when it's revealed that her corpse was being used to draw on stray Jedi. Yeah, it's pretty dark stuff. Jacob's number 2. Ezra and Kanan working together to use the Force to lift the door, which is awesome. Ross is number 2. The heart-to-heart about Kanan's Jedi training of Ezra and how they both feel about it. Playtime is over on so many fronts. So I like how you put that. And Jenny agrees with the darkness that was mentioned by Minta. It makes your heart drop. Totally. Jason's number 2. Kanan and the Force. His skill and training on display in rescuing Ezra from his free fall. And his handling of the stormtroopers in the prison. Most of all, his sense of seriousness and urgency to rescue Master Unduli. Henrik's number 2 is Zeb's humor. Zeb is funny. He's not in it a lot, but when he is, he makes you laugh for sure. Brian's number 2, the Inquisitor's flying lightsaber. The first time we saw that, we paused and looked at it like, what is that? No kidding. For Jenny, number 2, this episode exploits Kanan's own self-doubt. He projected this onto Ezra in the beginning. Then the Inquisitor outs him in their first meeting. Kanan sees himself and Ezra doesn't have enough confidence in himself to teach him the ways of the Force and struggles with his capabilities to hone Ezra's potential. He doesn't feel ready or worthy, which I think makes him so relatable because, as a new teacher, when you're a new parent, you get those doubts. That happens. It's pretty human. I like the humanity of Kanan. I gotta clear my throat again. Excuse me. I don't know what the deal is. I have like a tickle in my throat. Bad time when everybody's writing all this great stuff. Number 2 for Blake. The fight with the Inquisitor really set him up to be the looming threat that he is. Yes, and we're gonna see him, of course, in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. My gosh, next month. I mean, it's a little over a month, but wow, just think about that for a second. Crazy. Amber's number 2. Oh, this is from River, actually. Ezra and Kanan opening the door together. Amber says, for Amber's, it's Ezra and Kanan accepting their roles as master and teacher, as well as accepting that the teacher and the student are both imperfect, but that's okay. Absolutely. Number 2 for Mary, Sabine and Ezra talking about Kanan while standing behind him in the elevator. Oh, that's good. That hasn't come up yet, but I like that too. And he's like, I'm standing right here. And they say, we know. I think that's what happens. Ben's number 2, Kanan and Ezra's teamwork. Same as my brothers. Coincidence? Who? Kanan has finally enough faith in Ezra to open the blast doors. Dun dun dun. Mary says, sorry, Sabine and Zeb, not Ezra. That's okay. I knew what you meant. I probably should have just... Oh, well. No problem. No worries. Jamie's number 2, the Inquisitor. A great villain for sure. Ben says, Mason, get your dad some water. Right? Daddy parched. Speaking of Mason, his number 2 was the Inquisitor's first appearance, similar to my number 5. It's just very epic in its scale and scope, that's for sure. All right. Time for number 1. Number 1 for me. Let me get the little drum roll here. Well, I don't really like... This wasn't necessarily the best picture I found, but Kanan's arrival and entrance, the way he just smoothly and very easily takes care of these stormtroopers. I mean, just in his, like a Chuck Norris or Jackie Chan or what have you, or even Freddie Prinze Jr. Just the martial artistry is just beautiful. He's having fun with it. He's kind of smug, but he's also no nonsense. I just love it so much. I think it's so cool. So that's my number 1, Kanan's arrival. And as I've said many times, Kanan is one of my favorite characters in all of fiction. So anytime I see Kanan do cool stuff, I'm happy. So happy. Okay. Ross says, Mason, stop force choking your dad. Yeah, please. Number 1 for me, to Master and Padawan finally on the same page. A good way to start Ezra's path of becoming a Jedi, and Kanan, a strong master. Oh, cool. That's a good one. I like that. Number 1 for Jacob. When Kanan says, I'm not going to try to teach you, I'm going to teach you. I may fail, you may fail, but I'm going to do it. Both him and Ezra learn to stop trying and just do their best. That's a great one, Jacob. I love it. Brian's number 1. Kanan finally understanding Yoda's do or do not speech and stops trying himself and really does take ownership of being a teacher to Ezra. This is where Kanan started to become one of my favorite characters in and out of Star Wars. I agree. I love him. He's just really honest and just human. Oh, I think I hear Mason coming. Jason's number 1, Ezra together. Kanan and Ezra bonding as master and apprentice, even using their strengths and failures to strengthen their relationship. Hendricks number 1 is Master Luminara, unduly a cool throwback to the Clone Wars. Well, here's my producer now.
I got you some water.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Very good. Hey, I see you online. Okay. Cheers. I'm going to pause this and take a drink. All right. So very good. Where do we leave off? Oh, yeah. Ross says, it has been said so many great ways already, but I'm the Inquisitor. Welcome. He is a fascinating and terrifying new foe. He's so cool. And again, I think Jason Isaac's vocal performance is a big part of that. Blake's number 1, Kanan and Ezra's relationship progression throughout the episode. This shows some of the best character development in Star Wars, in my opinion, and that's high praise, really, for sure. It's a fantastic early example. Yes, as Mary says, I'm going to close my door. The dog is barking. 1 second. All right, maybe that'll help. Mary says, Kanan and Ezra are using the Force. At first, I think Ezra is amazed at how Kanan uses the Force. From the time they arrive at the prison and Kanan's great entrance, and the two of them working together to open the door, which is awesome. Rivers number 1 is let's see, the Inquisitor, all of it. Oh, both of you have this one. From the intro to the fight with Kanan, and even the interaction with Ezra, I said, "Holy cow!" multiple times. It's so cool, isn't it? Jenny's number 1. When Kanan and Ezra are forced under pressure to protect and help each other and use the Force to bring their team to safety, Ezra realizes the connection he craves with Kanan isn't in a master, but in a friend or a father figure. He doesn't want a great master who's more experienced. He wants Kanan, even with all of his shortcomings. And I think that helps give Kanan permission to be like, you know what, I might fail, you might fail, and he even says that, but we're going to try. Or not we're going to try, we're going to do it. Josh is saying give Mason an executive producer credit for sure. Speaking of, when you're in the Coffee with Kenobi studio, you got to use a coaster, right? So this will be the coaster featured tonight. A Darth Vader with a tiki drink. There you go. Jamie's number 1. Deciding/realizing each of them is not perfect as student and teacher, but agreeing they are perfect for each other. Amen, brother. Ben's number 1. Kanan's development and learning that he doesn't want to get rid of Ezra, but he just doubts himself. But Kanan finally gets Yoda's lesson. Also, I love the final shot that looks like Kanan and Ezra are playing catch Jedi style. Isn't that cool? Amber says, I also saw the resemblance to a father and son playing ball, just like Ben just said. Is that a shag coaster? I got it from, let's see. Yeah, it is. I got it from Comic-Con 2 years ago. Or like they offered it, and I just ordered it in online. Yep. There's also Boba Fett as well. Pretty fun. There's a couple others, but we'll save those for next time. Jacob says Kanan and Ezra chose each other rather than just being put together by choice, which is a good point. That's a really good point. Mason's number 1 is the Inquisitor battle. Just the fight with the Inquisitor was so cool, epic in scope and scale, and also small and the kind of. And I don't know if intimate is the right word, but it's just very small. It almost makes you feel a little bit claustrophobic because they're in these small, narrow hallways in the cell itself, and it kind of adds to the terror and the tension, I think. All right, very good, everybody. Love it. Well, next week, of course, the fun doesn't stop. We're going to keep going through this thing. Next week is Breaking Ranks, featuring one of my favorite characters in Star Wars, or one of my favorite character names in Star Wars. But we'll get to that next week. But next week again is Star Wars Rebels Breaking Ranks. But now, it is time for Star Wars Trivia. We do this once a month. Always a blast. Always a blast. And the rules are the same as they always are. Don't Google it. Don't look it up. Don't use a Star Wars book, although I certainly appreciate it. I just want you to use your brain. Use your natural talents as Star Wars fans. And there is going to be a prize. So a member of the CWK Alliance has donated the recent Peter Mayhew Chewbacca patch. And I'm going to randomly select someone who is with us tonight to be the recipient of this Peter Mayhew Chewbacca 2022 patch from Peter Mayhew's Foundation. It's really nice. It's beautiful. A huge thank you to the individual who donated this prize. And at the end of trivia, I will explain how you can be a part of this. All right. So Jenny says, use the Force. Josh says, use your feelings. And Mason says, me. I don't think you and I are going to be eligible for this. We've got other prizes to enjoy. All right. Let's do it. What is the first question? Get ready, everybody. Who sits next to Luke at the briefing prior to the first Death Star battle? Remember, don't look it up. Just think about it. Ben says, no Jedi mind tricks, Mason, or Harry Potter magic either. That's true. That's true. You were definitely speaking Mason's love language, Ben. The question again. Who sits next to Luke at the briefing prior to the first Death Star battle? Amber says his buddy from Tatooine. Josh says that is a very difficult one. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Who sits next to Luke at the briefing prior to the first Death Star battle? Jason says Biggs. Mason says you got me on the second one, Ben. Josh says it's Wedge. Mary says it might be Wedge as well. Mita says that. Amber wants to know if his name is Red. Jacob says Biggs. Ross says Wedge. Jenny says Han. And Blake says Wedge. Mason, we're just waiting for your answer. Brian says Luke talks about targeting Womp Rats with T16. That's true. Ben says it's Biggs. So we've got a lot of answers for Biggs. Jamie says Biggs. We've got a few for Wedge. And then we've got an answer. One person said Han Solo. All right. Mason, looking at you, buddy. Just waiting for you to answer. But the answer to the question is, who sits next to Luke at the briefing prior to the first Death Star battle? Mason says Wedge as well. Sits behind him so Han can, Han is actually standing in this scene. But the answer is Wedge. Now, it is a different actor than the one who plays Wedge in the cockpit for whatever reason. I believe that's the case. So if you were confused, that's okay. It was a little bit confusing in the movie itself. Okay, next question. Let me think about this. Okay. Whose dash across an indoor battlefield causes C-3PO to scold, "This is no time for heroics"? Whose dash across an indoor battlefield causes C-3PO to scold, "This is no time for heroics"? Any ideas? The question is, whose dash across an indoor battlefield causes C-3PO to scold, "This is no time for heroics"? Jacob says R2, as does Ross, as does Josh, as does Minta, as does Brian, as does Amber. Okay, and Jason says R2, Mary says R2. It appears that everyone believes it is R2-D2. Mason does too, so does Jenny. Yeah, well, I'm just going to say, yeah, it's R2-D2. I thought I could maybe trick some of you into thinking it was an Ewok or something, but no. That is not true. Okay, next question. Excuse me, how many pilots typically man the controls of an Imperial Scout Walker? How many pilots typically man the controls of an Imperial Scout Walker? Any guesses? How many pilots typically man the controls of an Imperial Scout Walker? We've got twos from Jacob, Amber, Minta, Jenny, Ross. Ben says 1. Josh says 2. Blake says 2. Mary says 2. Brian says 2 brave souls. That's true. Jason says 2. So we've got 1 for 1, and everyone else is saying 2. The answer to how many pilots typically man the controls of an Imperial Scout Walker is 2. 2 is the answer. Mason got it right on time. Jacob says depends on how many Kylo Force chokes, though. Well, that's true as well. First I remembered the question. I thought it was something else, but okay. All right, here's one that might be a little more challenging. Might be. So the first one was tricky. The second one was easy. This one not too bad. Now this one we'll see. What threesome accompanies C-3PO on his first space flight? What threesome accompanies C-3PO on his first space flight? Again, the question is, what threesome accompanies C-3PO on his first space flight? Ben says it's Anakin, Padme, and R2. Jacob says the same thing. Anakin, Padme, and R2. As does Brian. Any other guesses? Amber says Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Padme. Okay. Very good. Ross is going to go with Ben. Josh says Anakin, Padme, and R2. Minta says Anakin, Padme, R2. Jenny says the same. Amber is not so sure now. Jason says Anakin, Qui-Gon, and Padme. So we've got 3 different major answers here. Mason, what do you think, buddy? What threesome accompanies C-3PO on his first space flight? Mason says R2, Anakin, and Padme. I think that's everybody now. Is that everybody who's guessed? I believe so. Let's see. The correct answer to what threesome accompanies C-3PO on his first space flight? The answer is Anakin Skywalker, Padme Amidala, and R2-D2. There you go. All right. Let's, I got a couple more, and then we'll jump into Ask Danzy. Who informs Governor Tarkin that the Death Star has entered the Alderaan system? Who informs Governor Tarkin that the Death Star has entered the Alderaan system? Think it over, friends. Who informs Governor Tarkin that the Death Star has entered the Alderaan system? Last time, who informs Governor Tarkin that the Death Star has entered the Alderaan system? Ryan says Admiral Mahdi. Ben says, oh gosh, he's not sure. Blake says Vader. Okay. Amber's not sure. Jacob says Vader, perhaps, no idea. Jason says an Imperial officer with bad hair. Well, that's probably a good guess. Minta is not sure. And eyes is Jenny. Ross says a Starship Concierge. That's right. Ben says he's going with Brian's guess. Mary's not sure either. Wow, this one was a bit of a stumper. Again, the question is, who informs Governor Tarkin that the Death Star has entered the Alderaan system? Go ahead and weigh in if you have not done so already. We had, let's see, Josh remembers the voice. I do too. I can hear it perfectly. Mason, any guesses? So the answer is, let me get a little drum roll here. Mason says some person that works in the place Luke thinks is a moon. Obi-Wan says that's no moon. All right, that's pretty funny, Mason. I'll give you that. The answer is Admiral Mahdi, who was initially choked by Vader in the conference section of the Death Star earlier in the film. Oh gosh, this is going to be a hard one. All right, Mason, I know you like Attack of the Clones. I know a lot of you do too. It's the one I watch the most of the prequels. How many times does Jango Fett drop his blaster in Kamino while battling Obi-Wan Kenobi? Yes, you did, Mace. The question is, how many times does Jango Fett drop his blaster in Kamino while battling Obi-Wan Kenobi? Yeah, Brian did a great job there, buddy. Minta is on the struggle bus, and you know what? I am too. I can honestly say I would not have known the answers. I would have had to guess and hope that the Force was with me and I was right. The question is, how many times does Jango drop his blaster on Kamino while battling Obi-Wan Kenobi? Ross says 3. Amber says 2. Josh says 0. Jenny says none. Jacob says 3. Minta and Blake say none. Jason says 2. And Henrik, you can guess too, buddy. Mary says 2, but she's not sure. There's a couple exclamation points or question marks there. Again, the question is, how many times does Jango Fett drop his blaster in Kamino while battling Obi-Wan Kenobi? I like this question. This is a very obscure question. This is what trivia is all about. Brian, Ben says 1. Brian says greater than 1 but less than 5. Well, I don't know about that, Brian. And Mason says 1 or 2. So the answer is, how many times does Jango Fett drop his blaster in Kamino while battling Obi-Wan Kenobi? The answer is twice. 2 times. 2 times he drops his blaster while fighting Obi-Wan Kenobi. I wouldn't have guessed that. So there you go. All right, so how are you going to be eligible to win the prize? So this is what you're going to do. As soon as the show is over, I'm going to post in the CWK Cafe, and I'm going to say, what was your favorite part about tonight's CWK Live? And you can just be honest, just post whatever you want in there. And I will randomly select one of the people who comments on the thread in the CWK Cafe. And that's who I'll draw. And then I will contact you and I will send you out your prize. If you're not sure about where the CWK Cafe is, although I feel like you all do, it's our Facebook group, www.coffeewithkenobi.com/community. So again, as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to post, hey, share your favorite moment from tonight's CWK Live to be eligible to win the prize. I'll remember who joined me live. If you're listening to this later on our podcast feed, welcome. It's great to have you. But if you're listening on the podcast feed or watching on YouTube or on Instagram, we appreciate you, but you will not be eligible for this particular prize. So again, go to the cafe, CWK Cafe, our Facebook group at coffeewithkenobi.com/community, or just type in CWK Cafe when you're on Facebook, and that's where you can enter it. All right, it's time to jump into Ask Dan Z. Okay. Minta's question is, have I ever played Dungeons and Dragons? Minta, have I ever for years on CWK Pro over our Patreon show, we talked about Dungeons and Dragons and our adventures. I played in a teacher group for years with Tom Gross and Corey Clubb. Now I just kind of DM and do some stuff with my students. But yeah, I love D&D. I noticed on Facebook you had some really cool miniatures that you had created. So that's cool. Yeah, I love D&D. I think it's a great game. Lots and lots of fun. Even Mason's played it a couple of times too. All right, what other questions do you have? Jason says, Henrik would like to know what level you're on in the new Star Wars Lego game. So that's a good question. We've been doing something different, Henrik. Mason's been playing the prequels by himself. And then together, the two of us started a new game, and we're just playing the original trilogy. And we just took care of Empire last night. So we were on Return of the Jedi. We took care of A New Hope and Empire, and now we're working on Jedi. And then Mason, on his own, has done Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. And then he's going to start Revenge of the Sith by himself, too. Ross says, you guessed who would hit the first Cubs home run of the season, correct? That would be no. No one on earth guessed that. Not only was Nico Horner's home run the first for the Cubs, but the first in all of the MLB. So how about that? Blake says, which of the two Ewok films would you pick to watch if you could pick only one? Probably Caravan of Courage, but I think they're both a one and done for me. What about you? Ben says, thoughts on Moon Knight? I love Moon Knight. I think it's cool and original. It's certainly more for adults than kids, but I really am enjoying it. Not a question, but I just love what did Return of the Jedi teach us? Well, thank you so much. Yeah, what top 5 things Return of the Jedi taught us was a Facebook was our Coffee with Kenobi show last week. In fact, I'll put a little plug to it right here. Yeah, we had a great time. The week before we looked at Empire Strikes Back, but this week we looked at Return of the Jedi. Eventually we'll jump into the prequels as well. But great stuff. Great stuff. Appreciate that. Appreciate the mention on that one for sure. Mason says he's on Revenge of the Sith. That's right. You sure are, buddy. And you'll probably pass it really quickly. Jacob wants to know who would win in a fight between Dumbledore, Gandalf, and Yoda. Not really sure what they're fighting about. Oh gosh. I think all of them would choose not to fight because that's the wisest thing. In fact, I think Dumbledore will be the best at avoiding the fight as well. That's a good question. Mason, I'm sure, has an opinion on that. Who would win in a fight between Dumbledore, Gandalf, and Yoda? Well, Gandalf, you probably know who he is, Mason. But yeah, you do. You should from when we watched The Hobbit. Mason said Dumbledore. Of course. I don't know if I can answer that, Jacob. I just don't think they would fight. But if we're just pretending powers-wise, gosh, they're all insanely powerful. I think let's call it a 3-way draw. And then they just have coffee together and listen to the show. How about that? Henrik's on the same one, which is cool. And he wants to know, can we have an all Attack of the Clones trivia month to celebrate its 20th year? Yeah, we can do an Attack of the Clones trivia next month. That's a great idea, Jason. Mason, remind me of that, buddy. Brian says, Return of the Jedi is my favorite movie. Very well done episode. Oh, thanks so much. I appreciate that. Jenny agrees and says, this is the way. Ben wants to know if you ever played the Lego Harry Potter games. Yes, he has. I think you're on the 3rd one, Mason. Does that sound right? What if they're playing mini golf with their canes? Oh, then I think that Yoda's going to win that one. He's pretty quick. Josh says they would go on an adventure together probably to save a puppy. Yes, they would. And there would be spiders and all kinds of crazy stuff. But yeah, that's good. I like it. Well, I also like spending every Monday night with each and every one of you. We had a great time talking about the top 5 moments from Rise of the Old Masters. Remember, next week, it's going to be a really cool show. We're going to have a guest on Coffee with Kenobi CWK Live, and I'm going to debut for the first time anywhere the brand new Coffee with Kenobi logo and how you can get a t-shirt and merch to spread the word about the new logo. Same show, of course, but a new logo. We haven't changed this logo again since 2014, so it's going to be fun to do. Mason says, yep, on the Nintendo Switch. Ross, see you later, buddy. So good to see other fans after work. Josh, yeah, I agree, man. I'm so looking forward to seeing you and everybody at Star Wars Celebration. Speaking of that, I posted this earlier, but if you're going to be at Star Wars Celebration on Thursday, May 26th, at 7 o'clock p.m. at the Hilton Anaheim Mix Lounge, any Star Wars podcast is welcome to join us. I also can tell you, besides Jedi News being there and Fantha Tracks and Full of Sith, a lot of the podcasts you love, WDW Radio and Lou Mangello are going to be there too, so it's going to be one heck of a fun time. Josh is going to be there from Legal Geeks. It's going to be great. Jason, I hope you have a great week, and Mary, you as well. Looking forward to seeing you next week. It's a great way to start the week for me as well. And you'll chat Star Wars with each and every one of you. River fell asleep. All right, well, hopefully we didn't bore River too much, but it's getting late, so no worries. Thank you so much, Amber. Jacob, thanks for the fun. I'm going to be traveling next week, so I'll miss the logo. Bummer. You know what? If you miss it, buddy, no worries. Safe travels to you. It'll be here on Facebook. It'll be on our YouTube channel, and it'll be on Instagram, and I'll be blasting out all over social media, probably obnoxiously so. Jenny says, tonight was fun. Thanks for making it fun, everyone. Yes, of course. Well, thank you, Jenny, and everybody so much. Josh, yeah, I did see you sign up on Facebook, which is great. Blake, good night to you, buddy. Thanks so much, everybody. We will see you next time. Have a very happy, safe, and healthy Easter. And remember, this is the podcast you're looking for.